because it was unsafe, totally unsafe. So he's decided this can't go on. The first thing he did was he got the temple clear. He hired, interestingly, Arab guards to guard the temple. Also, the way from the nearest town, which is about 8 miles away, a place called Sadri, 8 or 10 miles away, he had the entire road with guards there. And then he just got the temple cleaned and somewhat repaired. So it became a place where people could go again. Then in 1897, it was taken over by this Anandji Kalyanji Preti, who decided that they will take it. It's an organization, and that looks after the conservation and renovation and repairs of temples, looks after the Jain manuscript libraries and everything like that. So they took charge of it, and in 1933, that is almost 30 years later, 36 years later, the repairs started, and the repairs are still going on. You can go there and you can hear chiseling happening, and there are these sculptors sculpting away. And when you talk to them, you are so moved by their story, because the sculptors are the 14th generation of the sculptors who originally built the temple. The pujaris are, the main pujari who was brought when the temple was first consecrated, he came from Chittor, and his 14th generation are the pujaris there. And the 14th generation of Ratnasa, the brother of Dharnasa, they live in Sadri. They have the right to put the flag on the temple spire. So you have the sculptors, the pujaris, and the patrons all reconnected to the temple. And every evening there are no electric lights there. Every evening when you go, there's the most beautiful aarti with little lamps. These pujaris singing, and they have 2 huge drums there, huge kettle drums, and they're beating them, and then they tell you that one is a male drum, the other is a female drum because of their pitch and their tone. So you hear this in the candlelight and lamplight, and you hear the puja, and it's again a divine experience of a different type. It's not an intellectual experience of appreciating the beauty of a temple. It is a spiritual experience of having been somewhere where there is a lot of piety and devotion. Next one. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for your patience. I want to particularly thank you all for your patience, for having waited, and hopefully I was able to interest you in this talk. Thank you.
Any supplementary questions if you want, or any additional information you can present?
I have not seen this temple, but I have been to Mount Abu. Yes. And I was really, really intrigued because I found the carving better than Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is a wonder of the world, but it's Jain. Because every ceiling, this square had a different design, and there were so many of them. It was like unbelievable. Now, what I want to know is Jains are actually very, like you said, they do a lot of penance. They even wear a white cloth and don't breathe in the virus in the air or whatever. So how come they have got into something so elaborate, so arduous, it's such a labor of love, so painstaking?
Without killing any.
How did they make all this?
Without any parents, killing any animals insects.
Yes. Well, the whole thing is it's the devotion and piety. And also many Jains, because they are not involved in various other things, they're mostly involved in trade. Their religion, does not encourage other things. So they make their money in that. And Gujarat being a maritime province, they had a lot of trade in the Middle Eastern countries. And they amassed a lot of wealth. Now, where do they pour their wealth? So it's in these temples. And as I told you, the repertoire, architectural repertoire, is very similar. You will go to a Hindu temple or you go to a Buddhist temple, you find that. The way in which it makes itself Jain is some of the Jain subject matter and panels that you see. That gives it that Jain quality. Also, Jain architecture, this fortress-like thing, is also very specifically Jain. You don't find it elsewhere. And quite often you will find there are rampart-like things, So that's the way they built their temples, and they're mostly built in hillsides or on hilltops. And then, of course, the amount of wealth they brought into it, they were able to get this sort of count.
In one illustration, you have Islamic art incorporated. Could you throw some light on that one? Some motifs, designs?
Well, I think because the Islamic, you see, don't forget, it was the same craftsmen who were working for different people. I mean, there was not a set of craftsmen that only worked for the Muslims or only worked for the Jains or the Hindus. So they had acquired mastery over all these motifs. And as long as these motifs did not specify any religious symbolism, they could be used everywhere. Yes?
Good evening. You have shown this motif of 5 bodies and 1 head.
Yes.
And that is something very similar, well, not inspired or at least connected to what you find in Sicily, where you have 1 head and 3 legs, which is a very old Tyrrhenian motif, which is a symbol of Sicily and also of Corsica. And could
you know
explain?
what, I think this is probably the sort of lineage that you see in places like Ajanta and all. You have 1 head of a deer and 4 bodies. So that, I think it's more that sort of descending from that thought process and concept. Yes.
The temple is a replica of Samosaran. And in Samosaran, it's a layered, architecture, depending on the level of people. So that the closest to the Tirthankara are the monks and others. Now in this temple also, since this is a replica, the layers as we see, the carvings, are they representing the layer or they are just arbitrary?
Well, more or less, from what you are saying, I also tried to see that. And what I feel is that in the floor plan, they have made 3 distinct areas. And when you go there, you find one is raised this much, the other is raised this much. I mean, it's not actually exactly like a Samosaran, it's conceptually like that.
Metaphorical.
Yeah, metaphorical.
I was just thinking, the dancers, the courtesans and the other things and the monks, maybe they were like representing, reserved, undeserved common people like in Samosaran.
No, at least I didn't see that, or I was not able to grasp that when I saw the temple, if it was there. But it is, I've been there 2-3 times, and the last time I was there, I must tell you what was interesting was, it was 50 degrees centigrade outside. And I had to go there because I was writing a book on Ranakpur and, the deadlines are coming near and we had to go. Inside the temple, it was 10 degrees less because of the marble and the airiness of the area. It was 10 degrees less. Bas abhi theek hai. I'm very happy to have sort of talked about a temple that has completely interested me, and I have been fascinated by it. And if I have been able to share some enthusiasm with all of you, I'm very happy. Thank you. Yes.
Do you belong to join philosophy, join spirituality, or you are separate?
I am more in the art area, not in the philosophy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saryu. I hope you all agree with me that it was a very fascinating
Such fun.
and engrossing lecture on an architectural wonder in marble. About such temples, it has been said by art historians that the people, they started like giants, bringing boulders from all around. Usually, these temples, where they stand, they don't have that sort of stone with which they are built. Okay. And they finish like goldsmiths. So this is so fine, the carving is so fine. They finished as goldsmiths. So, well, I think yes, everybody is impatient to go. I would first request our chair.